Imagine a sweltering July in Philadelphia, 1776. The air is thick with the smell of horse manure, wood smoke, and the silent, suffocating threat of the gallows. Inside a locked room, 56 men are about to commit high treason against the most powerful empire on earth. They aren't just signing a piece of parchment, they are signing their own death warrants. This is not just a dry history lesson. This is the story of a gamble where the stakes were everything and the prize was liberty. The gathering storm. The American colonies were a pressure cooker ready to explode. For years, King George III had treated the Americans like rebellious children, taxing them without representation and quartering soldiers in their private homes. By the spring of 1776, the common sense of Thomas Paine had set the public mind on fire. People were no longer just angry, they were ready to belong to themselves. The Continental Congress met in the Pennsylvania State House. The windows were nailed shut to keep out spies, making the heat inside unbearable. Flies from a nearby livery stable buzzed incessantly, biting through the silk stockings of the delegates. Amidst this misery, the Committee of Five was formed to draft a formal separation. At the center was Thomas Jefferson, a 33-year-old Virginian with a brilliant mind and a quiet voice. The architect of liberty, Shadhinotar Shtopoti. Jefferson holed up in a rented second-floor apartment on Market Street. For 17 days he wrestled with words as if they were weapons. He knew that the world was watching. He didn't just want to complain about taxes, he wanted to change the philosophy of government forever. He wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." These words were a direct attack on the idea that kings were chosen by God. When he brought the draft to the floor, it was like throwing a bomb into the room. For 2 days, the delegates debated every comma. They argued so fiercely that Jefferson sat in a corner, agonizing as they deleted a long passage he had written against the slave trade, a compromise made to keep Georgia and South Carolina in the Union. It was a painful moment of pragmatism that would haunt the nation for centuries. The moment of no return. Pichu perar pot bontho. On July 2nd, the vote for independence was taken. It passed. John Adams, the Atlas of Independence, wrote to his wife Abigail that July 2nd would be celebrated with fireworks and parades forever. He was off by 2 days. It took until July 4th for the wording of the Declaration to be finalized. Then came the signing. John Hancock, the president of the Congress, signed his name with a massive, defiant flourish. Legend says he did it so King George could read it without his spectacles. But as the other men stepped forward, the mood turned somber. Benjamin Franklin looked around at the room and whispered, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately." This was not just a metaphor. If the revolution failed, they would all be dragged to London to face the noose. The legacy, Uttoradhikar. As the ink dried, the bells of Philadelphia began to peal. The message spread like wildfire across the colonies. In New York, soldiers pulled down a statue of King George III and melted it into 42,000 lead bullets to fire back at the British. The Declaration didn't just create a country, it created an idea. It was the first time in history a people told their rulers, "You serve us, we do not serve you." It took 7 long years of bloody war, freezing winters at Valley Forge, and countless sacrifices before that freedom was truly won. But on that humid July day in 1776, the spirit of America was born. The men who signed that paper lost their homes, their fortunes, and some their lives, but they gained something that had never existed before, a nation built on an idea.